The old radio station stood as a relic by the Hudson River, a monument to an era long since faded. The sign, Beacon Broadcasting Station, once a bold declaration of its presence, now bore letters barely legible, worn by time and the elements. Yet to us, it retained an enchantment unmatched by any other place on earth. Its rusted towers and crumbling walls whispered stories of the past, casting a spell of wonder and history that captivated our youthful imaginations. The rusting gate creaked loudly in protest as we pushed it open, crossing the threshold into a world that was exclusively ours. Inside, the station was a vast cavern brimming with forgotten tales. The air was cool and motionless, saturated with the heavy scent of dust and neglect that hung around like echoes from a distant past. As we ventured further, a profound silence enveloped us, punctuated only by our footsteps reverberating against the aged walls. Time seemed suspended within these confines, each step we took stirring up whispers of history that seemed to seep from the very walls. The main hall stretched out vast and empty, lined with rows of deserted chairs all facing a cracked, dust-laden console. Its dials and screens, long since darkened, were unresponsive, standing as silent witnesses to a livelier past. Cobwebs draped over microphone stands and headphones, forming gossamer veils that stirred in the occasional draft. As I stood there, a ghostly hum seemed to fill the air, the faint murmur of broadcasts lost to time, echoing softly in the empty space. Our voices, when we spoke, resonated more vividly than we expected, too full of life for the quiet reverence of the station. They echoed through the vast chambers, weaving together with the whispers of countless past conversations. The walls themselves seemed eager to capture our sounds, embracing our lively presence and adding it to their silent collection of memories. To one side, a narrow corridor branched off into smaller rooms, each a hub of activity in its prime. Here, in these compact spaces, the heartbeat of the station had once throbbed most intensely. Desks lay strewn with papers, yellowed and curled at the edges, bearing the hurried scribbles of broadcasters who had long since vanished. The flickering beams of our flashlights swept across the room, casting eerie shadows that momentarily breathed transient life into these forgotten chambers, illuminating fragments of history left to time. As we ventured deeper into the station, each room unfolded more of its hidden secrets. Old tape reels and record collections were piled haphazardly, a treasure trove of sounds and voices that once animated the airwaves. The air was thick with the musky scent of aging paper and vinyl. Each breath we took was a testament to the myriad stories that had once resonated in this place before slipping into silence. In the deepest recesses of the station, where the faint light from the outside world struggled to penetrate, the feeling of timelessness was most palpable. Here, shadows clung to every corner, as if guarding their secrets with fervent determination. It was a place of hushed reverence, a sanctuary for the unspoken and the unheard, where the echoes of the past lingered in every whisper of air. Each visit to the station felt like stepping into a forgotten realm. It was a sanctuary where the present seemed to hold no sway. Here, the echoes of the past reigned supreme. Within this cathedral of silence and shadows, we found our escape, our imaginations unfurling in the quiet, vigilant embrace of the old station. It became our kingdom of shadows and echoes, a place where we could reign supreme, rulers of a world crafted from whispers and memories. As we wandered through the corridors, our footsteps seemed to stir up ghosts of broadcasts long forgotten. Each room whispered a story of voices that once reached out into the world, now silent and still. I often found myself imagining the vibrant buzz of activity that used to fill these spaces, the voices crackling through the airwaves, weaving a tapestry of connection across unseen distances. Michael burst into the main control room with boundless energy. He made a beeline for the central console, where a tarnished microphone stood silent. It was a relic from a bygone era, once bridging vast distances. He perched on an ancient stool that creaked under his weight. Leaning towards the microphone, his eyes alight with thrill, he was ready to revive the old station. "Good afternoon, listeners," Michael proclaimed, his voice booming with the theatrical flair of the radio announcers we'd heard on Dad's old radio shows. You're tuned in to WADV Beacon, the voice of mystery and adventure, broadcasting live from the top of the world. His words filled the air, echoing off the walls and breathing a momentary life into the silent station. He adjusted an imaginary dial, his fingers moving with deliberate precision. Today, we bring you tales from the farthest corners of the earth, stories of bravery and daring feats. His voice, rich with the cadence of a seasoned storyteller, rose and fell. Each word artfully painted vivid scenes in the air. It was as if he was conjuring worlds right before our eyes. For our first segment, Michael continued, his eyes twinkling with mischief, we have an exclusive interview with the world's most renowned explorer, Sir Michael the Fearless. He paused dramatically, leaning in closer to the microphone as if addressing a live audience. Tell us, Sir Michael, what marvels did you discover on your latest expedition into the heart of the uncharted jungle? He shifted on the stool, enthusiastically embracing both roles. Well, he began, his voice deepening to a gruff, seasoned timbre. It was a treacherous journey, replete with hidden dangers and ancient secrets. He puffed up his chest, embodying the fearless explorer. But fear not, for no challenge is too daunting for Sir Michael. Michael's performance was a vibrant display of enthusiasm and creativity. He effortlessly assumed multiple roles: the announcer, the intrepid explorer, the hero of his own adventures, bringing the silent station to life with echoes of a world far more thrilling and adventurous than our own. His voice filled the empty corridors, transforming them into the backdrop of his daring exploits. As Michael spun his tales, I found myself completely drawn into the vibrant world he conjured. In those moments, his voice reverberated off the station's walls, breathing life back into its dormant corridors. The silence of the old radio station was replaced by the thrilling sounds of adventure and the resonant echoes of a young boy's boundless imagination, making the space come alive with possibilities. As we played, our laughter and make-believe adventures filled the air, but gradually, something in the atmosphere of the old station began to shift. The shadows seemed to inch closer, and the air grew denser, as if charged with an unseen presence. The very walls of the station seemed to lean in, listening intently, absorbing every word we uttered. As we immersed ourselves in our games, a sudden, unexpected sound sliced through the silence, sharp and distinct. It began as a faint crackle, reminiscent of dry leaves being trampled underfoot, and then escalated into a steady, unmistakable hum. Instantly, we froze, our eyes drawn to the ancient radio console that had remained silent and lifeless until that moment. Suddenly, the dials and meters on the long-dormant console flickered to life, their needles jumping erratically as if seized by an unseen force. From the speakers, a voice emerged, static-filled, garbled, and distant, yet undeniably human. The sound was eerie, almost otherworldly, sending shivers down my spine as it filled the silent station with ghostly whispers.